Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at Darkrai. Shadow Darkrai got released now with the event in Japan, and so today I kind of want to try this Pokemon out in the Go Battle League. The reason is, as well, I really like Darkrai. Darkrai is like one of my favorite mythical Pokemon. I think my second favorite, to be fair, after Victini. I like Victini a lot as well. And so I kind of want to try this Pokemon out now, where it's out for the first time as a Shadow. This thing can hit super hard. This is not a surprise. It is a Pokemon that you though never really see in the Go Battle League, neither in the Great League or the Ultra League or the Master League. Why is that the case? Honestly, it is mainly due to the moveset that this Pokemon is currently running. This is literally a chainmail, because Darkrai has been out already for ages in Pokemon Go, and the fact that this Pokemon still runs Snarl as a fast move and Dark Pulse as the cheapest charge move is kind of sad, especially as a mythical Pokemon, such a special Pokemon, and with the counterpart Cresselia being just a legendary Pokemon, getting so many different upgrades throughout the years, it's kind of sad that Darkrai just sits there and does nothing, especially because ages ago they already found the signature move of this Pokemon, Dark Void, in the code of Pokemon Go, but it has never been used. Like, that was like 5 years ago, and so still Darkrai is sitting here at not the best it could have been. It's a Pokemon that has very hard-hitting moves, but it is not able to get to those quite fast and frequent, and this can be a little bit of an issue. And so here, we're going to take a look at Darkrai, and we're going to talk a little bit about as well, and how to improve this Pokemon in the future. And I really hope it's going to get buffed in the future, because it absolutely needs it. And here, against this opponent, we're actually nearly going to be able to win this battle. We just need one more fast move to go for a crunch, and we will win this. But like this, we are not going to be able to do that. So, what does Darkrai need in order to get strong? So, for example, Darkrai is learning at level 29 for a level up move, the move Sucker Punch, the currently best fast move in the game, also part Dark type move, and this, of course, as a Dark type Pokemon, is quite nice. And so this would be the first upgrade that I would give Darkrai. Giving it a new fast move, going to give it a little bit more new life. But this is not enough. This is absolutely not enough. Because what you need as well is, you need a cheaper move. You need something that kind of also helps you out with the issue of the defense stat of this Pokemon. And so you have the option here to either go for Icy Wind, which I would prefer for this Pokemon, allowing it to drop the opponent's attack, having coverage and being a cheaper move. Or if you want to just have a little bit more damage, but for the same energy, you have access even to Rock Tomb on this Pokemon, which would be very, very cool to get on this in the future. What else do we need to change? We need to change the other charge move as well, though. Depending on what you're going to add in terms of the next charge move there, you could go for something cheaper even for the Dark type damage, like Foul Play is available for this Pokemon as well, which is only a 40 energy move instead of the 50 energy move for the Dark Pulse, which you have to run here. Of course, by the way, I didn't even mention this yet, we have a single moved version here, because actually it's double moved, but the other move is Frustration. Frustration, I think that's like 30 damage for 70 energy. We'll never use it, of course. But Frustration is currently still forced to be on this Pokemon. On Monday, that's going to change. On Monday, you are going to be able to get rid of Frustration of Pokemon again. Definitely take advantage of this. There are going to be a lot of videos towards certain Pokemon that are now going to be available with both of their moves on this channel as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. Anyway, back to Darkrai. Darkrai just needs a bit of an upgrade. Of course, the fast move is definitely nice. We would need maybe even a completely new Dark type charge move that's like 35 energy in order to make this Pokemon really, really good. There are options here like Throat Chop, which is not in the game yet, Knock Off, which is not in the game yet, which I would love to see in the game because there's a lot of Pokemon have access to this move, or even Lash Out, which is also all Dark type moves, which could be translated into Pokemon Go as like a charge move that does need not as much energy. So, generally, towards the team that we're playing here right now, this team is going to be... I try to basically help myself out there to try to set up the Darkrai to the point where maybe we can see like a sweep of it or something. And so, what we have here is two Pokemon, the Drapion as well as the Togekiss, that have both a lot of fast move as well as like charge move pressure. They're mainly getting a lot of energy with the fast move and then pressuring with the charge move that they have, as both of them gonna get to their main charge move after just 10 turns here for Crunch on the Drapion, as well as of course both charge moves on the Togekiss. And I thought that would be a great idea to get rid of shields, so maybe later on we can utilize the Darkrai in order to win some battles by going for some hard-hitting Dark Pulse. The issue is, Dark Pulse itself isn't even the very hard-hitting move, and so while yes, we are going to... By the way, look at this. This is the weirdest thing ever. Dark Pulse coming through, shield up, all good. look at what they go for. I shield up, of course. I want to keep my Darkrai. Psyshock? Why? And the reason why you're going to see literally now. They're running Ice Beam. And there's no reason for this. Weather Ball is like 20 times better than Ice Beam. I assume they just didn't have the charge moves or something, like the charge TMs. But like this is most likely going to win them the game, you know. They're going to have the Lapras one back. I'm fairly certain we would have had a chance here, at least against that Lapras, maybe, if I let the move go. But sorry, I did not predict a double resisted Psyshock against our Darkrai there. And that is definitely my fault. As you're going to see here, yet again, another charge move coming through from us. The Darkrai is going to take down the Blastoise. And there's only one Pokemon left, which is going to be the Lapras. Good kill to the opponent. Next up, that is a Pokemon that is really good for our backline. What you can do is we can try to catch the move here. We go for 7 and we stop. This would allow them to go for a Shadow Ball. Do they go for the Shadow Ball? They don't. And it makes sense that they don't go for it. Because at the end of the day, one Shadow Ball is not enough to take out a Togekiss, and they need to go for 2 charge moves anyway. So it makes perfectly sense that the opponent decides to just go ahead and just go for the Surf. Surf is cheaper. Surf is going to still do a lot of damage and takes 10 less energy than a Shadow Ball does. And here we're going to have another Virizion out. Virizion is going to be a Pokemon that we want to face with our lead. But otherwise we are going to hopefully avoid this Pokemon with our Darkrai. But they swap out into the Gyosant, allowing me to go into my Darkrai, and I should be able to win this matchup quite handily. But the issue here is that the opponent is going to be able to outspeed us sometimes, at least here. And this is going to be a bit more awkward. So let's see. We're going to be able to go for a charge move. The Dark Bolt's coming through. This is going to allow us to get the KO. And in comes the Credeli, where we are going to try our best to go for another Dark Bolts, but we're not going to be able to reach it in time. I go for the wrong move. It doesn't really matter here. I'm just used to my Togekiss from the Great League. I've been using quite a lot of Togekiss in the Great League recently. And for me, the Aura Sphere was on the other side. And here, it just confused me. It doesn't matter because it's shielded up anyway. It literally doesn't make a single difference. But I think this happened to me twice, where I just went for the Psyshock instead of the Aura Sphere. In this case, of course, if it would have been landing, it would have done quite a bit less damage there. But like this, because they're shielded, it absolutely doesn't matter. It really just does not matter. And so here we're going to see the Rock Tomb coming through from the opponent. We are going to be able to just go for yet another Aura Sphere, but we wanted to wait out for the Virizion. We have to farm them down, and maybe we're actually going to be able to still win this battle. As long as we can farm them down, we're going to win this, and we can't. Good game to the opponent. I didn't expect that they would still get to the move, but this will allow them to knock us out, and we can move on to the next opponent. Where we will have the Golisopod. This Pokemon is going to be great for us. Well, they're not running the Fury Cutter, which would have been even better for us, as it's going to be a move that is going to be double resisted. They're running the Shadow Claw here, and they're going to do some neutral charge move damage as well. But I should be able to win this battle, and I know that I should always kind of get up a little bit extra energy here instead of going for the CMP tie, because a Psyshock from this range is not enough yet. I need to kind of go ahead and get them a little bit lower in order for this move to actually work. At this point, I should be able to win the CMP tie, but the opponent decides to go ahead and let the move go through anyway, leaving me with an extra charge move, which I'm now going to be able to fire off against that Fortress. Fortress will be able to take the hit here quite easily, but we can stop out now into the Drapion and we bait out the opponent's Zygarde. Zygarde is going to be an interesting Pokemon. We don't know what they're running. Very commonly, currently, is the moveset of either Crunch and Outrage, or the Bulldoze and Outrage, and it's going to be the Bulldoze and Outrage here. This is going to be a bit annoying. A lot of times I also have even Earthquake and Crunch, something like this. It's very difficult to kind of predict on what the Zygarde is going to run. The thing is here as well, the Zygarde is such a good Pokemon in the current meta. I assume that we are going to be able to get Zygarde in raids eventually, but I hope that we're going to be able to get like some of the salts for that Pokemon as well. I have not done any route really, I think in like 1+ years now. I really haven't done a single route. I think nearly even 2 years. It's just not mine. It's just not mine. I just don't like it. It's something that of course is quite easy for a lot of people to do, and it's a way of getting a very strong Pokemon that is definitely worth doing that. It's just not my feature. I just don't really like to go by a certain specific route, but I know, is this enough from Darkrai to knock them out? It's going to be our Outrage coming through our way afterwards. It is just barely not enough. And it was close though. Darkrai does do a lot of damage. This is the thing as well. It still does do a lot of damage. But imagine this Pokemon now with a little bit of a fast move update there. Like give it a Sucker Punch and does so much damage even with a fast move. That would be fantastic for it. But yeah, basically what we need to have is nearly a complete change of the movesets of this Pokemon. The most important one is definitely the Sucker Punch, and then the second most important one is a cheap move. A cheap move is kind of what you need to have on this thing. In theory, Darkrai has gotten one signature or like one legacy move since the release, which is Sludge Bomb on it, which is really not great at all, to the point where most players wouldn't even want to run it if they are forced to run the Darkrai. They would rather go for the Focus Burst, which has the potential at least to nuke away an opponent. But as you're going to see here, we are going to be able to go and let the Brutal Swing go through. That's totally fine for me. I am going to have here now, yeah, yet another charge move coming through. This is totally okay. We are going to be able to get the KO here if you would shield, but I'm not going to shield this move up, of course. As now, I am going to be able to just go for the Togekiss. I can take the hit here. I hope it's not going to be the Sludge Bomb, but I actually decided to use a shield now at the end because it is going to be the Sludge Bomb. They were quite likely to go for that. And as you see as well, there's going to be now the super power, I want to say. It's going to be the Aura coming through against the Steelix. Getting the shield from the opponent is going to be fantastic. And the cool thing here as well is that Steelix charge move set is usually the Psychic Strength as well as Crunch, which means that our Darkrai is going to be able to take those hits quite easily, and we are going to just take damage from the fast moves mainly. But as you see as well, we are going to have here now yet another charge move coming in. We have to hope that we can still get to another move here against the opponents. Yeah, it's called Steelix. We are shielding up the move. Psychic is coming through, and they're sadly catching the move on Razian. This is really unfortunate. I want to swap out, but the Switch Hook wasn't up yet, and this is going to allow them to still get to yet another charge move. And with that, we are in a very tough spot as the Aura Sphere is going to be reached here. We have 2 Aura Spheres stored, but I'm fairly certain that the extra fast move from the opponent is going to be enough to knock us out. And with that, Darkrai is going to go down as well. Very close battle. I feel like 2 or 3 of those battles so far, we had the chance of winning. But so far, we won not a single one of them. And this is the thing as well. Like, I kind of rather want to talk about the potential of this Pokemon, because the current state of this thing is just not there. Like, this Pokemon is just not good. And that is a thing that we have to accept. Like, at the end of the day, not every Pokemon is good in Pokemon Go, and that is totally fine. But Darkrai just really needs to get another update in order to have any kind of chance. Here, Crunch is coming through, and we are going to be able to go for the full farm run against the opponent, as we are going to use a shield here in order to align ourselves. The Night Slash is coming through, and we have now a ton of energy against whatever wants to come back in. It's going to be the Moltres, where honestly we have some sort of play against the Moltres. But this is just a bit awkward, as now the Octatail is coming through. This is going to be quite interesting. And the Octatail is going to do some solid damage, but it's going to put them down into the range where we are going to be able to knock them out with our Togekiss with one more charge move. But the Fly is going to threaten us. We are shieldless, and they're going to reveal that they have the Nidoqueen in the back. A Pokemon where we have at least a Psyshock for, which is kind of cool, at least for them. But yeah, we're still going to have to catch the move, and that does not work out. I get the free Dark Pulse in, but in order to have a chance of winning this one, we would need to survive this hit. And as you will see here, Stone Edge is sadly enough to knock us out, and with that, we have no chance of winning this battle. And we're going to move on now to the next battle, as the Poison Fang is going to take us out here. Moving on, we are going to be able to now move on to the next one, which is going to have the Empoleon in the lead. Not too bad, actually. Our back line doesn't really want to face Empoleon, but here we're going to have the Aura Sphere, and we're going to be able to also win the CMP tile again against the opponent here, which is going to be fine. And this is going to be okay. We are going to have the shield coming up here, the Hydro Cannon is coming through, and as we will see, we are trying to reach our next Aura Sphere, but we expect them to swap, and then swap out into the Florges. I can retaliate. With my Drapion, if I swapped faster, I would have been able to get the first Octatail off before the opponent would have been able to reach a debuffing move, I want to say. But they actually go for the Moonblast, doing quite a lot of damage straight away, but they're also going to be threatened by our fast and charge move damage. So I could even use a shield here now, as I have the coverage against the Empoleon. And if Darkrai gets up to another move, we might even be able to knock out the Empoleon with that as well. But of course, they're going to drop our attack now. As the Octatail is coming through, we have to try to go for the full farm run against the opponent, and we can get this done. I have the Octatail stored, and I can go straight for the swap out into the Togekiss, go for the harder hitting Aura Sphere against the Empoleon. I go straight for my next one because I kind of have to, but I just swap out into the Cresselia. That couldn't be a worse Pokemon for me, because Cresselia has not only a lot of fast move pressure to the point that they can fully farm us down, they're also going to be able to resist our charge moves completely. Any kind of Psychic-type Pokemon can do that kind of here against our Togekiss, but they're going to get a ton of energy, and we kind of have to soak up the energy. And I can soak only the energy up here onto the Drapion. could have maybe even tried to go for the awkward tail on the CMP tile, which would have worked out quite well, but the issue is they had so much energy already that Darkrai, yet again, is not going to be able to shine at all. This Pokemon is quite the worst Pokemon I've ever played. Hopefully you still enjoyed the video though, and I will see you then. Bye bye.